Well, hey everybody, this is Bill and Deb with I Ride Tiny House Adventures. Hope you're having a good weekend. Dear, are you having a good weekend?
I'm having a great weekend. The sun is shining.
Oh yeah, we've had some pretty rough days the last few days, and it's not typical for this time of year. At least for the last 4 or 5 years, it's not typical. But we even had a little bit of snow. We usually don't get snow here till around February.
Ask me if I like snow.
Do you like snow?
Oh no, I don't like snow. I need to go south.
I understand. Well, that's the plan. That is the plan. Anyway, it's time for another update, and believe it or not, one of the things that I had been dreading the most, we finally got it done. And well, I say we finally got it done. Still got a little bit of trimming and stuff to do, but let's show you right quick what we got here. If you'll remember, I commented in another video that if I had it to do over again, I would not order a slant nose because it's been nothing but a headache trying to figure things around it. So finally, though, we got the drop down framed up and covered, and I'll go through briefly how we did it here. The thing about when you're building a project like this, and I mentioned this to someone the other day. When we started with the project, we only had basic ideas of where we wanted this and that to go, and that was about it. Everything else we've had to kind of build as we go and figure it out as we go. And the drop down to cover the slant nose is one of them. And I was battling certain things. I was battling the fact that I didn't take this into consideration when I mounted the vanity in here. So I had to make sure that this would clear at, and we do have it where it's barely clearing right here. So what I did, first I had some 1x2s, and I figured up exactly the highest point that I could put them back here for my first set of bands back there. And hopefully you're able to look at a photo, because we shot several photos here, which you'll be seeing a few. Then once I figured out where the band, you know, the highest I could put the band back here and still have plenty of meat to secure it to the wall here, then I cut me some reference sticks, a couple of them that were at the proper length, so I could just lay them up against the wall here and here. And then of course when I moved over here, here and here, and that would help me secure the bands in place. I just have to lay the sticks up there and then secure the bands in place on that. Then of course I figured the bare minimum that I could come out here and here in order to clear the vanity mirror. That was the biggest thing right there. So then we went ahead and put in a couple of uprights here against the wall and a couple of uprights here against the wall. Then what we did, in order for this to have plenty of support here, and I had to make everything light, and I had to have it as strong as possible. So what I did then, I made me a couple of beams, and the way I made the beams, and I've got some pieces here to show you. First I started with a 1x2 flat, and then I made a 1x1, which technically is 3/4 by 3/4, and I shot and glued it onto the back side so that we would end up with a beam, you know, kind of like that, and run the full length, and that gave that a lot more support. Then of course what I did after that, after I got this beam up here, and then I had to do this in 2 separate beams up here because there's a slight curvature in the ceiling here because of the way the ceiling crowns in the center. So I had to make this out of 2 separate beams here, plus that gave me a pathway for my wire that runs down to the fan here to run, and we'll talk about that more in a second here. But so I made 2 beams here, and then what I was able to do is hand cut each particular stud where I wanted it to go along the way here, and then shoot them in. And then at the last minute, we were going to cover this with like a thin 1/4-inch paneling or something, but we decided, hey, you know, it would look real good if we could put the same stuff here as we did on the ceiling up here. So we went and bought another bundle of that and went ahead and covered it here, and then of course it's all down here too as well. Now we're gonna see how this comes out. We did some filling here, and we'll have to do some sanding right here, and if it doesn't come out to our liking, like before we poly it, then we'll come back and put a small thin piece of trim there. But we're going to see if we can get by without having to put another piece of trim on that. I will have to put a piece of trim up under here to cover that, but I've got plenty of room to do that, so there's no issues with that. Now we have left the option open. Should we decide that we need a little bit more storage, there is still the option that we can cut out some excess holes here and here and picture frame them out much the same way that we did this in the wall mount heater, so we can utilize this space for storage up here. We're going to wait and see where we are when it comes to that, because it won't take no time to do that. And I did build this out of lightweight materials. There's not a whole bunch of support for this underneath here, mainly just the support back here at the back and then here. And I do have a center piece right here that's supporting. But we're going to wait and see if we truly need the space, if we truly need the space. And even if we do decide to utilize what little storage is available up here, which is not very much, but if we decide to utilize that, it will have to be super light items, because like I say, I don't want a whole lot of heavy stuff up here causing undue stress with this. It is built strong, but it's still built light. It's very light. The main thing I wanted to do was cover that slant nose. And of course, it also enabled us to add more insulation here and more insulation here behind it, which you saw in some of the photos. Now, as far as the storage is concerned, we have built in an awful lot of storage in the trailer, and we're going to talk about that for a little bit, because we've had a few comments about people concerned about storage. So here in a minute we're going to talk more about that. And we'll start right here with this shelf. Mainly, I was going to have Deb walk through this, and she will, but mainly because I'm standing right here already, we'll go ahead and talk about it. We've got several of these cubes. How many of those cubes do we have?
Right now I have 18.
18, and we can order more. Roughly, you kind of did the math. How many places do we have that we can store cubes like this all together? How many could we utilize?
Two above the toilet, which we don't know yet what we're putting in there.
Yeah.
We have 4 here.
Right. And let me demonstrate how that would work. These simply, yeah, I'll let you go ahead and do that.
So we can put 4 in here.
Right. So just imagine if we had
we
4.
We could put 5, but down here's going to be my subwoofer
Yeah,
for my
that's
sound system.
yeah. So just imagine if we had 4 there, and then
I have 5 will go up here.
Yep.
5 will go at the foot.
Yep.
So now we got 14, 15, 16 of those.
Right.
Then under the bed.
I
didn't prepare for that.
Yeah.
Under the bed, in this cubby right here, I can put 3.
Yeah. Slide
so which
3
means
in
I got to buy some more.
And I need to take a little dowel rod and screw a little hook on the end of it, so that, and of course, those down there, what you'd be storing down there is stuff that we wouldn't need to readily be able to, get to all the time.
Exactly.
But what I'll simply do there is just take a dowel rod and put a little hook on the end of it, so for the ones back there at the back, if we ever needed to get to them, we just simply reach in there and hook one to that and pull them out. And, okay, continue.
Okay, then I have these baskets. And I have, I bought all at home had.
Yeah.
They had 6.
They just happen to be the right color and the right size.
So I can have room for 3 here. Here I'm going, and I've been looking, searching for a little place for my cookbooks and my reference books.
There you go.
Then I have 3 more I can put over here on this side.
Right.
Go ahead and give you that.
And how many of those do you have again?
6.
6 of them. Yeah, we bought, we were at Home. We just got a new dealer here called At Home, and man, it's like, for Deb, it's like walking into a candy store, like I would be if I walked into an Academy Sports. For Deb, she just went gaga. But, because they got all kinds of stuff. But we found those while we was in there, and we bought every single one they had, and whether they'll get any more or not, we do not know. If they ever do, we'll buy some more of them. That's for sure, because they're pretty handy. So. Okay,
up here I'm going to put 3 in the middle. Not that it will be cooked with up here, but I will have my toaster oven that I can reach up, pull down, and set right here on the bar.
Right.
So that'll give it a home, and if I have more room there, that'll be another place for books or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Totally decided all that.
Exactly.
I do have a set of 4 drawers, which
Yep.
is more than I have. No, that's exactly how many I have in my house.
Right. Yeah.
So haven't decided totally what I'm putting in there. I know, of course, silverware in the top one and
Mm-hmm.
spices and cooking utensils in the second one. The third one will have our dishes.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth one will be my induction cooktop and whatever else I can put in there.
Mm-hmm.
Then underneath the bar, we have 3 shelves on this side.
Mm-hmm.
And some of this will be utilized with my little printer that is compatible with my cell phone.
Yeah, we
And
love
of
that
course-
little printer. We'll talk about the printer someday too, that we can use wireless without Wi-Fi. Okay.
And of course, on one shelf will be my little file bucket that I don't care who you are, how many times you have your phone, you've still got to have some paper files.
Yeah.
And I found one that will fit on a shelf easily and store everything I need stored.
Mm-hmm.
Over
And
here.
quickly, I want to mention we will be tidying up these wires a little bit more, folks, underneath here, so don't get all nervous about that.
Over here on this side, I have 2 more shelves, as well as my trash can.
Right. Remember in the previous video we showed how we
And of course,
figured this out.
right here is a perfect place for trash bags.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is a perfect place to put my kitty cat food, as long as I'm sitting over here and know how to sit. And I know, what do you mean by that? And under here,
Right.
we're going to put another shelf here, and this will be all of my cooking stuff. My griddle, my waffle iron, my crock pot, my
Induction
blender, I think I'm putting it over here.
You okay?
But that will store all that kind of stuff and
Mhm.
probably have a little bit room for some more, depending.
And then we still,
Over here, I want to store canned goods and water, and we're going to build a shelf on top of, above the pump, so I
Right.
have access to that.
right,
And then I got to figure out how much space I have here and what I can use to utilize that.
right.
Then up here,
Uh-huh.
above the fridge, we're going to have a shelf. It's probably going to be about yay big,
Mhm.
yay deep.
Right.
And I will have place there to shove paper towels and whatnot. And that's the other thing you didn't show.
Uh-oh.
Gonna have to go back across the bed.
Okay.
Did you see how graceful I did that?
Yes. Right here, we had to build this out to allow for this shelf
Right.
and for this drop down.
Yeah.
So we came up with this perfect little hole right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I can get between 6 and 8 rolls of toilet paper in there, which, hey, that's important stuff.
Yeah, that's important stuff, that's for sure.
Then we're going to build a place to hold our compost.
Yeah. Right.
And
Yeah.
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll build a matching bin. We've already talked about it, but we'll build a matching bin that looks like it's made for this area. And we'll probably go ahead and use this material for the walls of it. And we'll have a neat little lid on it right here, but it'll be right in this area right here for the compost.
And
material.
then, of course, the wash machine goes here.
Mhm.
Over here,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going to come up 18 inches.
Right.
And underneath there will be my litter box for my cat, because she goes with us.
Mhm.
Up above that is a perfect place for a laundry basket, which everyone needs a place for dirty clothes.
Mhm.
So we're going to have that.
Now, how are you going to cover this opening here?
I've got a curtain that's going to cover the litter box.
Mhm.
I'm going to leave this open
Okay.
because
Okay.
it'll be a laundry basket, so it'll have slats and it
Yeah. Well, and
Besides, if
we'll
you
get
tip
it.
too much, you won't use it.
We'll get it. We'll get it color. Say that again.
I said
What
if,
did- what-
if the laundry basket has too much concealment on it, you will forget to use it. Sorry, guys.
See what I have to put up with. Of course, after 47 years, I guess she's got me figured out.
I've got you figured
Yeah,
out.
whatever, dude.
So
Yeah.
I think, of course, we're going to go through our clothes. We're not
Mhm.
taking. There's no sense of taking work T-shirts and good T-shirts. We will just take good T-shirts, because the work T-shirts, when we get this done, is going in the trash.
Well, hopefully I'll find time to relax. The only time I'll be getting dirty is set up and take down and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going to go through our clothes. There's no sense taking a whole bunch, because with this small of a washer, if I'm doing laundry at wherever we're parked at, it's going to have to be an everyday thing, and I realize that. So Why do we need a whole bunch of clothes?
Exactly.
Even if we have to end up going to the laundromat, you need 7 outfits.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Well,
need...
and you've already told me that I'm going to have to find different kinds of pants to wear because I can't bring jeans with me, or maybe just 2 pair of jeans,
You can
just for
bring-
special occasions.
Jeans are for... Because they take too long to dry.
I know.
It's not because you can't wear
Well,
jeans.
that's okay. I'm happy wearing sweats all the time. Is that what you meant by that?
No.
Okay, fine.
I'll figure it out.
Okay.
I'll
Well, I
tell
figure you will.
what to wear.
I figured you would. You know, you never talked about the closet. This is right behind you.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
I have... Well, a closet's a closet.
Well, I know.
But, swing around over here.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I
ma'am.
have a few items of jewelry that I like, necklaces and
Mm-hmm.
different things.
Mhm.
And I've been stressing, where am I going to put them? Where am I going
Mm-hmm.
to put them? Well, when Bill built this closet, it dawned on me. I've got a perfect place right here. I can put little cup hooks.
Yeah.
Up here can be my bracelets. Here
Yep.
can be my long necklaces, and they're pretty well protected from the hanging clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And I have all kinds of, and I can put scarves.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I've got that problem handled.
Well, you know, it boils back to what I said a little while ago. When you build the basic things, then you start discovering the other things you can do around it. You know,
Right.
and sometimes it's hard to visualize these things until you actually build part of it, and you know what you've got to utilize after that. And that's what this whole project has been. You know, we never dreamed that the drop down would come out like this. We just simply, you know, thought, well, we got to start doing something. So we started one little thing at a time until we figured out how it needed to go. Same way with the way we braced up the shower, because we messed up and didn't have them frame out for the ceiling fan in the proper place. So I had to come up with a way that I could leave the top part of the shower open. And we talked about that in a video a long time ago. The main reason why we decided to do the way we did, by strengthening the shower walls the way we did and still having that left open. And I still got to trim out around all that and everything, but it'll be fairly open across the top right there. So anyway, little things that we learned as we go, and then we have to figure out a way to solve that particular problem. So that's what we're doing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had, someone mentioned that we should have used the foot of the bed for something different. But the whole concept of this whole thing, from my point of view, and I'm the designer, is this is where my 50-inch TV goes,
Yeah.
with a sound bar below it
Sure.
that is hooked up to my subwoofer.
Yeah.
So that when I am laying in my bed, I have the ultimate television area. And that was very important to us, because that's...
Well, you know, here again, I commented when I mentioned that to someone here a while back, you know, that we're going to have it set up. Okay, we had trouble with the GoPro. All of a sudden it said beep, 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 and the SD card is full. So guess what I get to do? I'm going to buy a bigger SD card is what I'm going to do. So anyway, back to what we were talking about.
That's what I talked about.
Yeah.
I've had people question me this big empty space here.
Right.
And from the very beginning, our concept, of course, we're planning on living in this trailer for a while.
Right.
We've already had the big garage sale. We're already downsizing. We're leasing the house. So we're getting ready to be more or less full time. So one of our priorities is when we lay in bed, we like to watch movies and we like to watch shows. And I have a 50-inch TV and I'm taking it with me. So this area here will be for the 50-inch TV with space for a sound bar underneath it right above. See, our mattress will come up another 12 inches because we've got a 12-inch memory foam
Right.
mattress,
Right.
which is another one of our priorities.
Mm-hmm.
So this space here is not a big empty space,
No.
or it won't be. The fans, of course, are going because they make entirely too much noise.
Yeah, we've already got something else figured out for that.
Yes.
Too.
So,
Which we'll talk about later.
yes. So this space is being utilized. It's just not being utilized.
Well, here again,
It's for our taste.
we feel like we've got plenty of storage as it is, you know.
Yes.
So that's the reason why we kind of touched on that, because we had several comments about that, and I don't think folks understand the true concept of what we're doing here. Here again, folks, we're not interested in stealth. We're not interested in going off grid. What we're going to be doing when we start traveling, we're going to be staying in national parks, Corps of Engineer campgrounds, and things like this. And we're searching out the ones that have full electrical hookup, that have the other amenities. You know, not all of them have city water at the particular campsite, but the vast majority of them have full electric hookups. And that's what we're after. We're also going to be laying out our route where we're not on the road more than 3 to 4 hours at a time, because we want to allow enough time to pack up and leave of a morning and get to the next campground and have everything all set up and ready to go before it gets dark. That's all there is to it. I mean, this is our plan. And believe it or not, you can go to www.gov. You know, is that the way it is? I can't remember exactly what the website is, but we research it all the time. And it's real easy to find all of these parks. And the eastern half of the United States are loaded with them. I mean, we can find them so many different places. And then you include the national parks and the national forests that have campgrounds that have the amenities that we are looking for. And we, so far, especially for at least the southeast section of the country, which is where we'll be traveling first, so far we have found great success in being able to lay out our route and to be able to stay at the national forests, national parks, Corps of Engineer campgrounds. And the neat thing about these campgrounds as well is that they're not like a typical, most of them are not like a typical privately owned campground where everybody is jammed in, you know, one by the other, 10 feet apart, all that stuff. Most of these are roomy campground sites. Most of them have a lot of trees, you know. You're not just out in the middle of a bald spot, you know, and those kind of things are important to us. And that's why, so we're going to focus our travels on that. We're going to focus our travels on how folks in our particular age bracket can stay in these places for a minimal amount of money, because, you know, we have the senior pass, so we get to stay at these places for half price. And that usually equates out to between $11 and $15 a night. And 99% of them have, you know, a water and electric at the campsite itself. Very few of them have the sewer hookup at the campsite, but we're prepared for that. We're prepared for that. So, and we'll talk more about that at a later time. And yes, we will. Right?
Right. Yes, we will.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Is there anything else you'd like to add before we end this video?
I don't think so. We just thank every one of you for watching.
We always do.
Always do.
All right. Y'all take care. We'll see you again soon. This is Bill and Deb with I Ride Tiny House Adventures saying
Goodbye.
bye-bye now. Y'all take care.